Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle to triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. Thank you for joining us today for this episode of Her Version. The Her Version platform is built on storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from listening to other people's stories. Today, I am speaking with an amazing woman named Dr. Hynd. Dr. Hynd has accumulated more than 20 years of professional experience in high-level leadership positions. She was nominated by Forbes among the 100 most influential women and most influential Arab Women in Business 2015, and honored as a member of the Johns Hopkins Society of Scholars in 2018. With a Harvard PhD and engineering degree from Centrale Paris, Hynd started her career at the World Bank in Washington before joining Morocco's prime minister in Casablanca Stock Exchange as a managing director. She structured several investment funds before launching her consulting firm and just published the inspirational and women empowerment book, African Girl, African Woman. However, it was not always so pretty. Hynd has gone through her own life's journeys. She is here to talk about how we all go through things, but we need to keep pushing forward. Welcome, Dr. Hynd. How are you?
Hi, Sabrina. I'm so excited to be in your beautiful podcast today.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to hang out with us and to share your journey. I so appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Hey, by the way, is it Wednesday over there?
It is Wednesday.
Okay.
5 p.m. afternoon, and we're on Wednesday.
Beautiful. When I was messaging you, I'm like, I hope it's even the right day, because I know sometimes depending on the time, it could be a whole day forward or back.
So are you 6 hours difference?
6 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
You're in Morocco.
I'm in Morocco, in Rabat, working from home. That's what I think about the digital world.
I know.
It makes it so easier.
Yes, we're very blessed to be living in the world that we're living in, for sure.
Yes.
A little bit different than it was 100 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. And it has accelerated after the pandemic. I mean, it just become a normal being. And I think we all hesitated about coming out again, traveling again, going back to what we used to be. And probably we will not go back to that trend ever again.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. There's still so many people. I'm surprised because I've been working from home, but I'm surprised by how many people still work at home. Like, well, we just blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, how's work? And they're like, still working from home. I'm like, still?
Yeah.
That's just crazy to me.
Yes.
So,
companies have shifted. A lot of companies have shifted because they realize that actually people are more productive. They produce, they can, you can rely on them. And so it's better. They save in office spaces. So it's actually pretty good.
Yes, 100%. That air conditioning.
Yes.
That expense down here in Florida, I bet the air conditioning is the most expensive for sure. It's so hot down here sometimes.
Yes.
For sure. Do you, what is the weather in Morocco? Does it get hot?
Well, there are places where it gets really hot, but it's a Mediterranean area, so it's actually mild. We have winters, so I'm actually wearing a sweater because it's cold these days and it's raining. And summer can be hot, but it's not crazy hot. I mean, it goes between, I think we have temperature, it goes between 10, maybe 5 in the winter, and then all the way to 25. Like the max will be 28 for that part. But we have cities where it gets really hot, like in Marrakesh, 45 degrees or more, or in the south, in the Sahara. But we have mountains, so we have snow, which is, a lot of people don't realize that, but it's actually The four seasons are here.
Yeah, I thought when I think of Morocco, I think of like tropical.
Mm-mm, not at all. No.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
so interesting. I
it
was
is.
expecting for you to explain something similar to what Florida is, which is
No,
the
well,
jungle.
yeah, no. We have mountains where it snows. It's an hour and a half drive from here, a couple of
No.
hours if run. We love it, and it's it's just ski resorts, and
Yes.
we have two nice ski resorts.
Wow, that's just crazy to
Yeah, I
me.
know people don't realize that, but we're
Totally.
we're higher up. It's not tropical area yet. It's just higher.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding. Well, listen, I know you've done a lot of traveling
Yes,
in your life, in
I
your
did.
journey, and I'd love to just kind of give you a few minutes, give you the floor to be able to kind of, tell us a little bit about your past, a little bit about your journey up to where you are now. And
Mhm.
then I got a bunch of questions for you. Is that cool?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, awesome. Go ahead.
So I love your introduction. So you introduced me so impressively. So it's really it makes it quite. So I need to now go back and tell you how this whole thing worked. And I think the your platform is really to showcase perseverance and resilience. And I think any women and any successful woman or man for that matter, you need to show a strong resilience and throughout your life. And that resilience doesn't mean that you just, you're like a train and just go and let go of feelings and of being that feminine part of you. It's not. It's just with you embrace every part. So gracefully you carry on and you fall, you stand back up. We hear a lot of no's as being girls and women. So you get used to hear no and you're like, it's okay. I'm carrying on. Let's do it again. Let's try again.
Yeah.
And really when you come from background where traditions are very strong and culture is very it shapes you, that's who you are. So you kind of really have a stamp on you that you need to be a certain way. You grew up knowing, I mean, things are different now, which is really nice, but in my time I grew up in the 70s and in the 80s, and at that time, very few girls have the possibility and the opportunity to follow science or to even push their studies to go abroad and to to do that. And I mean, that's probably one of the first challenges. You asked about what are the difficulties that I've gone through. I think one of my first one is to be able to pursue my studies outside and to get into one of the best engineering school in France.
Wow.
And to be able to do that, I had to have my professors come home and convince my parents to let me do it. This I was 18 years old at that time, and
Wow.
it was just no, you cannot go. You have to stay at home. You go to any school that is close to home because as a young girl or young woman, you need to be married and settle. I think that's the number one priority. So everything turns around that life, which is reach a certain age, you study within, nobody tells you not to study, but just enough to get married and to have your family.
Wow.
Uh, and I think that's probably, once I've been able to jump, because that's really coming out of conformity. This is like doing something completely outrageous and just breaking the rules in the tradition and the family traditions. Then you set the tone of how your life is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because once you do that, you know that there will always be look people and family members and everybody looking at you saying, either you're excellent and it's good, so they're like, okay, she did it, or if you don't, it was like, oh, we told you so. Of course you didn't.
Yes.
Of course you
Yes.
shouldn't. So
Yes.
you carry that. I think it's a guilt. I always felt it was a guilt because it's like it's almost I had something to give back because they let me go. So I needed to be kinder, giving back more, doing more, helping more, just being somehow attached to go and helping everyone with me and pleasing everyone on the way. And so you become the pleaser. and you live your life that way
Wow.
until you realize it, but much later,
Yeah.
much later. Much later. You think, yeah. So,
Yeah.
so that moment, I feel that that was my leadership moment. It's like, this is my mission. I'm
Okay.
different. I was able to dream and to believe in the possibility of going to somewhere else, to going to France, to just being different than what the family had set up for all of us, me, my siblings, and everybody else, in fact. And so that just sets you up. And from there on, wherever I was doing, I had that strength. I knew it. I had it in me. I knew that when you believe so much in something,
Mhm.
when you believe and you work for it, because you need to act. It's not only about believing, you need to take action. Taking action is really doing the work and doing it. And I remember I was waking up. It's funny, I never shared this actually, but I remember my mom would switch off the light and would tell us, just go to sleep, and I will wake up, switch on the light, and sit in the corridor and work on my math exercises. It's like, just going back now, I'm like, why did I have to do that? And I was so young. I was like 16 and 17, because I needed to be the top of my class. Because by
Wow.
being the top of my class, they couldn't say no. They couldn't say no. They couldn't
Yes.
say no to that, to giving me the chance and to that possibility.
Yes.
You know,
So you were already thinking ahead that far.
I was thinking ahead, and it's just, I get so sensitive. I mean, I can feel that moments, and I'm like, what is it, how much we go through, right? Because
Yeah.
we go through so much, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the burden of having to, believe, and having to convince, and finding ways to convince everyone and the parents, because they are everybody at that moment, right? Because they
Yeah.
are the one deciding for your life.
Yeah.
But doing it, and nobody told me. I just had it inside me. I'm like, I just have to do that, and I was following my intuition. So
Wow. And then it worked.
it worked, but you know what it did? It just set me up. I was programmed to just work so hard,
Yeah.
just work so hard, and having, never been impressed with anything that is related to science and problem solving and, logic, because I was in science and math.
Yeah.
I was an engineer, so I was really doing very advanced studies. And probably, I think in the class we were 2 or 3 girls among 40 students. So it shows you, you build that strength from long time. And
Yeah.
once you program this way, that's who you are. You
Yeah.
just programmed that way.
Do you think that there's anything wrong with not being impressed by anything?
I mean, impressed by anything in the science math field, it doesn't scare me. Numbers were just my thing.
Got it.
And and no, I mean, it helped me,
Okay.
because after that I went to Harvard. And I went to Harvard, I didn't speak English. I
Wow.
didn't understand English. I mean, I had minimum to be able to, but I had good grades in math. I was really the top in the math, physics, I think. And so, mastering that, I was able to do my master, to take classes, because I knew the language of. Okay, we're live, and I have 4 children, as you know. So one of them is coming. Hi, Zahra. Is you okay? Yes, we listen. So sorry, Sabrina, but you had another invite with me. So here, she can come and say hi. You can say hi.
Say
Hi.
hello.
Say hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Oh, I love it.
Okay. Okay.
Beautiful. Look at that head of hair.
We honor you, call. Yes. Um,
I'm asking about the impressed thing because sometimes I get a little bit of backlash because I don't celebrate my wins the way a lot of people celebrate their wins because I view it as like an obligation or I have to or what's next. I don't sit in like the win as long as people think I should.
That's true.
So I was just
Yes.
kind of, your tape, yours is similar. It's like
Yes.
next.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, next, because your wins, which are wins for others, yours are just a step to reach somewhere else. Do you
Yeah.
see?
Yeah.
That's why I think you probably wait for the celebration until later, and that's the wrong we do to ourselves. And that's how we don't really take care of ourselves as
Yeah.
much. So we just push ourselves way too much.
Yeah.
And I think you expressed it so well. It's good to take a moment and just be proud of who
Yeah.
you are,
Yeah.
of what you have done.
Yeah.
And if you do that,
I do. I take a moment.
you know,
I take a moment.
you take more than a moment, just
And
like,
I say, yeah, that's awesome. But then I'm like, next, where am I going next? You know,
but you know why
interesting.
you're like this? Because you have a mission bigger than you.
Yes. Yes. That's exactly what it is.
Yes. And when
Yeah.
you do have that, then these are just steps to go to somewhere else. But in a sense, it's very good for you because us as a human being, we need to grow continuously. There isn't such a thing that, okay, now I've done this, let's stop and take a moment and do nothing. You can
Yeah.
just do nothing. And often that's what people have wrong. I mean, being luxury and success doesn't mean you do nothing. There's
Yeah.
nothing as nothing because you can't stagnate. You can either go down or grow. It's just like a plant. I mean, you watch a plant. Have you ever seen a flower just sitting there and doing nothing and just being there for a long time? No. It either blossoms and it grows or just gonna go die.
Yeah.
And that's exactly how we are.
Yes.
That's how we are exactly. So you
Yes.
need that
Once it's
drive.
done growing, it dies.
And that's human being too.
That was so good.
Yes.
We can end the podcast right here.
If you want.
That was so good. I've never thought of that before.
Of course. That's what it
Yes,
is.
it doesn't just stay. If it just
Nothing
stays, then it dies.
I mean, even us, our body doesn't stay. It vibrates continuously. I mean, if you look at the microscope, it just moves continuously. There's
Yes,
nothing that stop. Nothing stops. Nothing.
yes,
And that means that growing is the law. It's like that's what we do. And to grow, you need something to look up to. You need a mission. You need a motivation. You need to wake up in the morning and you're happy because you have something you are going towards. You see?
absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Wow. So you went to college, you didn't speak English.
Wow. I
So
learned. Well, and the funny part, that's another point also, which is interesting. Oh, it's just nice going back all these years. I love it, Sabrina. We don't get the time to walk back in memory lane, so it's really
yes.
nice. And and I arrived, and then I went to see my professor, Peter Rogers. I was so impressed and happy and just excited. It was like, oh my god, I had jumped in a movie. I'm like inside a movie, so it's like all this excitement. And I just go to see his office, and he looks at me. It's like, you're a girl? I thought were a boy. He thought he accepted a boy. And I was like, oh my God. That's
No
more
kidding.
part about my name. So maybe it helped me. I have no idea. I have no idea. But it was
Wow.
very rare to be a girl in engineering. So this was very fun.
Wow.
It's like, you're a girl? I'm like, yes, I'm a girl. So this
Oh,
was
that's so
like fun
interesting.
part. Yeah. So what does it tell you? I have no idea. Miracle happens. Confusion is good. You don't know. That's why you believe. You don't know what star will be around to help you reach what you want to be and what you want.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yes.
So if like it would have been Hinda, like with an A at the end, it could have been a totally different story.
Who knows? I don't know.
Oh
I don't
my.
know. I've no idea.
Thank
But
you, mom and dad.
yes, here we go. Here we go. Yeah.
Thank you,
That's a
mom
good
and
name.
dad.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very
So
cool.
then what?
So my name has always been a confusion girl again. It's like,
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
So went to college,
So I went to college.
engineering.
I did engineering. And the first semester, I had to take math and all the scientific things because numbers are the same in any language. So I knew I'll just understand them. So that's why it's good to understand numbers. It's very good
Oh,
to understand
okay.
numbers. You can go far away with numbers, really far. And so that's how I did it. And then I picked up English, of course. I mean, because I was in the dorms, I was surrounded with English speaking, and I love the language, and I learned it. So I was speaking it after the
So
first.
what do you speak then? What are your languages?
We speak Arabic and French. I also learned Spanish before, and then we learned English. So it's my fourth language.
Wow. And how many languages are you teaching your children?
The same. They speak fluent Arabic and French at home. They speak English as well, and they go to Spanish classes. So for
Wow.
uh,
That's crazy. I still sometimes have trouble with English.
I do. I think I have trouble with English, but it's okay. It's all right.
Oh,
That's
I love
I don't
that.
mind it.
I love that. So how'd you end up on the 100 Forbes?
Yes. Well, few years between Harvard and that.
Yeah.
So after Harvard, I went to the World Bank. I was working as in development. So, and that's how I traveled. I traveled the world because I was covering Latin America and is covering Southeast Asia. And I was working on poverty reduction, on infrastructure, and I think I spent 8 years there, and that's amazing, and it changed me completely. I mean, it changed me, it formed me, it trained me, it just prepared me to be who I am and to believe in development and to believe in helping, and more than that, to understand what it means to help, to make a difference in people's life,
Yeah.
to undertake projects, and that these projects are the one who are going to bring water and electricity to people's houses. Otherwise, there'll be none of that.
Yeah.
And that suddenly it just makes sense, because then how strategies are related to people's life, and how international work is important, and what is happening is like you understand the different layers, and at the end of all those layers, what matters is the person. Everything relates to the person.
Yeah.
And the better you structure that, the more impact you will have, and more people you will change, you will impact, and have see them, see their lives being changed, see their lives being improved.
Yeah.
And that's what brings that back to mission, to having a mission that is so big that no matter what you go through, that's okay. You have a voice, you have a knowledge, and you have something that motivates you, that you want to do, either sharing stories like you do, to give hope and to give role models to other women and other people around the world, to tell them it's okay. Everybody falls down and stand back up. People believe in themselves, in the possibilities. That's how they create what they create. If they didn't believe, nothing would be created, nothing will be done.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nothing comes easy. Nothing. I mean, I think what I remember today talking with you is those moments where I had to wake up in the middle of the night to work exercises. And I'm telling you, when you're 16 years old, that's hard. It's really hard, because no one is there to make you do that. And you're scared because you think, it's wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. And you have all the stress, and you're like, so it's just not easy. Nothing is easy to be able to reach excellence, to be able to achieve good grades, or to be able to go to the schools you want to go to, and to carry on. And then you're like, why are you doing this? That's the question, is why?
Did you find out?
you know I don't know what's the why. I knew I wanted to be an engineer like my father, but what is the why? I think what was my why is early on, I knew there was such a big difference between countries, um, part of the emerging markets, the developing world, and then the more advanced countries. And my thing was why this disparity? Why these differences? Wanting to understand what is it that is lost in the translation, why technology is advancing so much in some part of the world and less in others.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So and I think that's was just looking for that why, and in the same time contributing so that all the parts of the world can develop the same way.
Exactly. That makes sense.
Mm.
In all your years through all this moving and traveling and all of the things that you've accomplished, what do you feel or what do you consider to have been your biggest failure? And what did you learn from it?
Um, I think all of those traveling projects, initiatives, when I was doing them as part of an institution, as part of an organization, I was in a system. So when you are part of a system, you are in a safe bubble because you are inside a system. You follow. And I think when I started become an entrepreneur in 2014, that's what things have changed. And being an entrepreneur, it means you take responsibilities
Yeah.
and you take risks. Not only that, is that if anything happens, you're the one up front, just there.
Yeah.
I think that's so being an entrepreneur, I made a lot of money. I lost a lot of money. And I'm talking in the seven figure spheres. Okay. And so I learned my hard way about betrayal, about difficulties, about challenges, about people coming to business. I'm thinking it's win-win, but it's actually win-lose. And so you learn that. And I've gone through my setbacks and just into that vicious circle of negativity and feeling down, and that the word crash, and it was hard. It was very hard, but that's part of the entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
And
What do you think that taught you?
you know what it taught me? I think being able to keep my sanity and to stand back up. It's just, it taught me that nothing matters at the end of the day. It's how you feel and what is your motivation. And once you are connected with who you really are, you find your strength back up no matter what happens. And also, I used to be, we talked about it, how when you succeed and you go high, you want to please everyone because that's what you do. So
Yeah.
you keep on pleasing and pleasing. And then while doing that, you're like, where is me inside this? And that's the moment when you realize that love is not trade. It's like you don't please so that we love you. You don't please so that people like you. You don't do things. It's not trade. And it takes a while before realizing that. And if it's probably facing challenges when you realize that there is a person in you and you need to take care of her
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
And don't get yourself lost in the middle of, the the struggles, the difficulties, the everyday challenges, and yeah, so hard.
Yeah. Definitely. What's your view on personal growth?
It's extremely important, and that's what I just said.
Yeah.
Keeping your sanity, it means you keep a mental health and personal development and personal growth is the way you can keep your mental health, and keep on, you know, keep helping yourself, finding back, being on track again when you get lost, when you feel like you just want to sit in the rabbit hole because the world stopped, because whatever felt for you, everything which just crashed, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go and sit in my dark hole, and that's it. And that's where you need to have the skills of helping yourself back up and building yourself piece by piece.
Where were you at when you started to realize personal growth? Like, where were you in your journey? Were you in your 20s, 30s, 40s? And then where were you as
I
far as
think
your
I realized that pretty late. I was in my 40s,
wow.
because in my 20s I was doing my PhD at Harvard. It was too much, it was so much sparks, when
Yeah.
you're a student, it's the best time, yet we are looking for it to finish so that we can start working, but that's the best time. And I
Yeah.
always say to students, enjoy your time. This is the best moment where you
Yeah.
can learn, you can just be in that safe bubble that everything is okay, and just learn as much as you want, as much as you can, rather, because it's really how much you can absorb. And then in my 30s, late 20s, I was at the World Bank. 30s, I was traveling the world, and it's fascinating. You know, I think what's up to me, personal growth is related to helping others. More you help, more you grow.
Yeah.
And when you help, you are growing in the same time. More you give, more you grow. And so the themes, thematics on which I was working was really development and helping. So I can travel and see the communities that are, have new projects. So that made me feel like, it just, I can feel it in me, because it's so great. It's like you feel you're so grateful for what you do, because it's just like you're making a difference in people's life. That connection with human being is just, you grow, you see them grow, but you grow also as well in the same time. And then when you get caught up into entrepreneurships, and all the having to manage the office, the team, the problems, wow, you're like, whoa, you forgot.
Yeah.
You let yourself, I don't know, where is you, I mean, in that moment. And I think
Yes.
that's what happened to me. I was just eaten up by everything, eaten up.
How did you wind up coming around to understanding it? Was it a book? Did someone say something? Did you watch something? What happened?
You'll find it very funny, okay? Because at extremes, okay, when you're in a project or an enterprise, you always dread have arrive into something so crazy and extreme, and then it happens to you. It's like, no, this is, I can't, it just happens to you. So for you is the end. And I was watching Queen of the South, Teresa Mendoza.
Okay.
And it's just funny, because you'll think, okay, I'm in finance, but she's in narco trafficking. But it's kind of the same thing when you look at how sharks are planning to take these plots everywhere. And I was amazed by the way she was always looking at what she's going to become afterwards. That
Yes.
moment, when she comes out of that limousine wearing this shirt, she's like, okay, look what I am. Maybe I was there. That's okay. Look what I am. And that was just, it's funny, but it was just one thing. And I
Wow.
realized this is it. The only way you can stand back up is by believing in what you can create, and just holding out to that vision, to that perfect image.
Absolutely.
But I think it's not that. I came home, and, I looked at my girls. I have 3 girls.
Okay.
And I'm like, I want let my girls see their mother like this. I will not. And I can see that vividly. I remember they were sitting at the kitchen, and I looked at them and I said, no, for my daughters, I'm going to stand up and recreate myself and believe in myself. And no matter what I go through, it makes me so emotional still, because it was very hurtful. and I didn't want my kids to see it.
Yeah.
And I had to really find the strength to show up as a role model for them, my girls. And this is what I said. So I'm doing this for my girls, and I'm doing this for every girl in the world and in Africa. And that's how I wrote my book. So
Yeah.
I wrote my book, African Girl to African Women, where you can see there is a lot of pain through it, but it's just showing the struggles that women have gone through to become leaders.
Yeah.
And so when we go back to history, every woman had difficulties. Women who couldn't go to school, so they will hide and they will take books from friends that will just bring them to them. Women who had to hide to work. Women who had to change her name to as a man so that she can write. So, and I think this it just helped me come up again. And I'm like, it's all right. Everyone can fall and stand back up.
Yeah.
And there are so many amazing women that have done it before. And what I'm showing is that for every girl to strengthen up. And if there is something, we all have challenges. Mine came this way. Others comes from, personal life, losing someone, being hurt, going through trauma. Just, everyone goes through pain.
Yeah.
And if you keep yourself inside that torturing pain, you destroy yourself.
Yeah.
So that's why so I think the one big thing is to take the decision that this is not your life. You're not gonna fall. And that's where you remember, I mentioned this Queen of the South, but it could be Superwoman, Xena the Warrior, whatever it is, someone that just, bring you that strength, just even put in loud music and like, yes, I can be, just do it, just become that warrior. Okay, I've fallen. I'm like in the worst situation, but I'm standing back up because I'm a warrior, because everyone has that warrior personality. Everyone inside. And that's the moment when you're like, okay, my warrior, come out. I need you here.
Yes.
But that's a decision. You need to make it. And often people don't make the decision because they think that maybe they should stay in that torturing, painful, emotional sphere for a while because it's good to feel, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not good to feel.
Yeah.
It's not good. It doesn't take time to heal.
Yeah.
It takes time to heal after you make the decision, not before. Because if you don't make the decision, you're just torturing yourself. And don't ever, I don't know who's watching us, but not ever let yourself in the pain and suffering of remembering moments in your life. Make a decision that you are creating something so beautiful and so amazing that all thing, you're going to say thank you that it happens because it changed you.
Yeah.
Because it had triggered in you something you didn't even know existed. No?
Absolutely. I can kind of relate to that. There was a point in my life where I was going through some stuff, and I thought that I was going through those things because the universe or God or whatever you believe was punishing me for being a bad person. So in my head, I thought to myself, this is my punishment. And the longer I go through my punishment, the more that I will prove that I am sorry.
No, yes, that's what I was meaning. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you expressed it so well.
Yeah. People stay in that.
Yes, I know, but don't stay in that.
Yeah.
You know why you don't stay in that? Because you need to love yourself and forgive yourself. It's you that matters.
Yeah.
You forgive yourself. Whatever you've gone through is not your fault.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. And you cannot go forward by living in your past. There is no way. Turn the page, move until the scar is healed.
Absolutely.
And it's about love. That's the second point. You take the decision and you forgive yourself by loving yourself. When you love yourself, you're going to forgive yourself, because you will be so good to yourself that you'll understand that, whatever happens is not your fault, and it's okay. And whatever it is, you still love yourself.
Yeah, definitely. There's people listening right now or on the replay, and they're thinking to themselves, okay, got it. I understand what Hynd is saying. She's saying to move forward. She's saying to not think this way. She's saying to embrace my inner warrior, or however, they're interpreting that. The second question that I get from a lot of my clients is, okay, I understand it. I can conceptualize it. Now what? What are the steps? Do you have maybe like a 1, 2, 3 steps on how a person can go from being where they're at now, the darkness that they're in now, to a better place? What would be
I
your
do.
advice?
I do. Yeah, I do. Very simple. Because if that took me out of my own rabbit hole, it can take anyone. And when you are in far away and you're like so dark, but you can see just one tiny light, like so small, just tiny, just like maybe, just like, the light is there, the weather is nice, the garden is beautiful, just that, stick to that one tiny thing and be grateful of having it in your life. Just tiny thing. I know it's hard, but when we are in the middle of this, we forgot about the simplest thing. But when you just stick to that tiny thing, just being able to sleep and have a nice and cozy bed, and you're grateful for that, just being grateful of looking at the window and looking at flowers, or just be grateful for the simplest thing in your life, and it will grow in you. Every morning, you made the decision. You've created the person you want to become, because that's a decision. What's your decision? You made it. You're coming out of it, because you're going to be that amazing person who's going to look back to what happened is like, that's okay. Look what I am now.
Yeah.
That's your decision. And then be grateful. Every day, be grateful, because what it does, when you're grateful, you can be anxious and fear will go away.
Yes.
And the only way you get rid of fear is by being grateful, because fear is there. It's stick to you. It's like that's it. It's inside you. It's like, wow. It's like, how can I get it out? And the only way you get it out is either by a shock, which is, I don't know, it's gonna be, because you're in your rabbit hole. So how can you have any shock of anything? Because you numbed, right? Because you're numbed, right? Because you're
Yeah.
like, whatever, I'm in my negative circle, depression, it's all there, whatever happens, I don't care. But the only thing is just stick to that mini light that you can see, and every day, and be disciplined. The only way you get out of whatever you do is discipline, and discipline is your decision to make, nobody else.
Yeah.
You discipline yourself, because once you've taken the decision, that means you're coming out of it. Coming out of it, it takes discipline. Reaching freedom, mentally, financially, everything is discipline. It's not doing nothing, it's discipline. And that's what I teach, actually, Sabrina. If you want to become, I teach women to become leaders and influential. But the first thing is to lead yourself. If you can't lead yourself, how can you lead anyone?
Yep.
Anyone.
Yeah.
You need to lead yourself. And leading yourself is by being disciplined. And being disciplined is getting into your mind, that shifting your mind into gratefulness. Be grateful, because grateful for the little details, just little simple, for anything, just grateful of being able to sit down, being able to take a shower, being able to eat something nice, being able to, whatever that little thing, just be grateful for it. And then it will grow. Every day you'll have more things to be grateful about, because you are changing your vibration into something that is going higher, and you coming out tiny mini bit by from where you've been. It's a process.
Yeah.
But but love yourself no matter what. And it's hard to love yourself because there are moments where you've gone through things and you just hate yourself so much. You look at yourself and you just want to say names to yourself because you hate yourself for having gone through tough experiences. But again, it's discipline. By loving yourself every day, you'll finish by appreciating. You'll get to the point where you actually really love yourself. So the steps are easy. 3 steps. 1, take a decision. Take a decision that you are creating that great person.
Mm-hmm.
Second, forgive yourself. Love yourself. Say it every day. I love you. I love you. You're so great. No matter what, you're the best. I love you for who you are. Just look at yourself and like, oh, I'm so beautiful. I love you. It's like, And the third one is just be grateful. Be grateful for the little things. Don't do anything else. Just do that. Just be grateful for things. And after 21 days, really, because it takes 21 days to start shifting your habits, you will start seeing more light in your life. More light.
I love that. Perfect.
Hmm.
What's the number one lesson you've learned from your life?
What should I have? It's that life happens for you, not against you. Because we blame ourselves. And, you said it earlier. You feel it's like when something happens, you're like, okay, it's because I've done something I attracted it. It's because, so you start really going into that blaming mode. But when you realize that if something happens, it's not about why it happens to you. It's about what did I learn from it? Where, maybe I was in the first floor and I was supposed to be 17th floor. That's my high class level. And I was just stuck there and thinking happy. But when something hits you, you're like, maybe that's the moment where I'm like, okay, maybe I should aim for something higher now. Let's check something more because I can do it.
Yeah.
You have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Nothing to lose. But only great things. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Have you had any disempowering thoughts or limiting beliefs in your life?
Limiting beliefs. I think it's about working harder, overworking, over pleasing everyone. That's what it took me a while before I realized that what other people thinks is not of my business. It's their business. Because because we grow up wanting to please everyone and wanting to do everything. And then at the end you realize, just focus on what you want to create. You can't be looking at everyone's energy and being in what they are.
Yeah.
Just be who you are.
Yeah. I think I agree with you. I think that's probably one of the biggest that holds people back.
Mm-hmm.
Is just that. And once you kind of dive into personal development, you start to realize that other people's opinions of you doesn't even matter.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, because you realize it's not your business. Whatever they say, that's their business. Even if they say things about you, it's still not your business.
Yeah.
But it's, it takes a while before realizing that.
Yeah.
And that means that you have done so much work in yourself.
Yeah.
And that you realize that you don't need anybody's approval for anything, or you don't, it's not going to affect you. You don't live because from the external world to inside, but you drive yourself. And
definitely. I think one of the biggest eye openings for me was that same. And then also how it goes to everyone. So it's not just me, but it also goes to everyone around you has the same right that you have.
Mm-hmm.
So then that takes away the control that you think you have over other people.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as you can do whatever you want, everyone else can also do whatever they want. And it's a very freeing thought process once you really grasp it.
Yes.
You start to realize that, wow, I can only do me. That's it.
That's it. Yeah, you can't. That's
Yeah,
it. It's
100%.
very freeing. It's like it's almost you had this huge luggage and just put it down. You're like, wow, I was carrying all of that stuff with me. Whew,
Yeah.
lighten up, girl, and just be
Yeah.
you.
Well, listen, I so appreciate you being on here. I want to take a second to thank those that are on here live right now, watching us and supporting us. And I also want to give a shout out to those of you that are watching on the replay right now. If you could hashtag replay so that we know that you are here and you are watching us. Since we have an audience, I would love for you to tell us what you do. What is
Sure.
your business? Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, I completely shifted into women empowerment because when I realized that, I can take myself out of a hole, I can help anyone get the mindset. So I understood how the mind works. And that's how I created my method, which is to help every professional woman to create more wealth, make an impact, and be fulfilled in the same time. So it's a three-phase program where the first one is really how to believe in yourself, believe in your dream, believe in the possibilities, and get rid of all those invisible constraints that we all carry with us, whether it is from tradition, whether it is from believing in the glass ceiling, whether it is from trauma, whether it is of setbacks, failure, anything that has been holding us down and not letting us be who we really want to be. That's, so once you believe in and define the project you want to do, the second phase is to take actions. What is it? To define your financial numbers, reverse engineer that so that you can have a clear business plan and branding for service you provide, for even for yourself as a person who wants to step up in career, in reaching executive position and leadership position. And finally, how to be an authority and a leader, how to speak from your heart to touch others, how to make an impact, and how to have a sense and find a purpose in your life so that you are on a mission that is bigger than you. And no matter what you do, you will have not only fulfill, but you'll have an amazing impact around you. I mean, it's such a beautiful program. We have a mastermind. In fact, I have a new mastermind starting in April. So the doors are open for women to join us. And what I love is we celebrate the changes, we celebrate women. And when you free yourself from guilt, from doubt, from fear, from excuses, when you are able to stand empowered and to gain your authority, you become unstoppable. You can create whatever you want. You can, make $1 million look small. You can create huge projects. You can build, I have women creating foundations, other women's finding their dream jobs, other women's launching amazing companies. And more we do that, more we can have women create their own economies and help others. And it's the ripple effect that will make this mission possible. As you know, since I decided to really shift and use my knowledge and my experience and expertise to empower women on a mission to help 1 billion girls and women to become confident, resilient, tech savvy, and financially free.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And the program that you're running right now, can that be found at your
Yes.
website? On top
It
of
could
your
be
head?
found in my website. I don't know if we can put it. I can write on a comments. Is it possible?
I can write it. What is it?
www.balmethod.com.
Oh, it's on top of your head.
Is it my top of my head? Yes, yes, it is. Thank you, Sabrina. You're brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes. And we have a group on Facebook, which is Women Leading the World. And we also, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on all the different platforms.
Yes, I love that. Very cool. So if somebody did want to follow you, is your social media on your website also? You can find your Facebook and all of that on there? Okay. Very cool. I think that is a great method. Totally makes sense. And I love that you're starting with believe.
It's all about believing.
Step one. Yeah.
Step one.
Yeah.
You need to believe.
Believe it.
You don't believe. And you need to believe in many things. You believe in yourself. You believe in the possibilities. You believe in a better world. you believe in your capacity, and you believe in that warrior inside you if you need it,
Yeah.
the warrior, the lover, the magician, the sovereign, all of those personalities
Yeah.
that you can use anytime you want.
Yeah. That's great. What does success mean to you?
Success mean to me is reaching my mission to empower a billion girls and women. That's what it means. Is seeing that, when you know that there are 121 million girls out of school, I think it's unacceptable. And to me, that's my mission. And when I work towards something, I want to see things happening, and I want to see changes happening. So the how is on the making, but that's where I'm going.
Absolutely. That's great. 1 billion. Is that written down somewhere? 1 billion?
Yes, it's 1 billion.
I love that.
It's 1 billion. Why the 1 billion? It's because it's the part of the world that is underdeveloped, and it's half of it are women. And when you reach that, when they know that they can believe, if a girl knows that even if she's in the most marginalized area, if she strongly believes in possibilities for her, she will make it. She will walk that day and find someone who's going to be a mentor. The universe will help her. The divine intelligence will help her. She should not give up. That's my message. Never give up. Believe in yourself. Believe in the possibilities. Make yourself so excellent in whatever you learn and you like, because you have access to everything today.
Mhm.
So your job is to be excellent in what you love doing. In the whether it is, I encourage a lot of girls to go to STEM and science, technology, engineering, and math, because to me, if you are not on the digital sphere, you are left behind. And you need to be that. You need to learn. You need to be excellent. There is no average doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah.
You have to excel in what you do and give so much value. When you give so much value, even people who didn't like you, they start finding interest in your
Yeah.
value.
Yes.
Isn't
Yes.
it? Isn't it,
Yes.
Sabrina? Here we
Yes.
go. That's it. That's
Yes.
why you don't have space to look what's happening. Focus on making
Yes.
your work so excellent.
Yes. I've heard somebody say in my past, I don't watch the news, I make the news.
Wow, powerful. That's a good one.
Yes.
That's a very good one. I like that.
Yes. Well,
Very
that kind of
nice.
reminds me of what you did. You could have been reading the 100 Forbes, but you're like, I'm
Yes.
gonna
Oh,
get
yeah.
onto. Was
Yeah.
that something you were striving to do, or is that something that
Mhm.
just happened?
One day I woke up August, and my face is in every newspaper. And I'm like, how can I handle this? Oh, what is that coming from?
What
I
did
was,
it come from?
was the managing director of the stock exchange. And I was like, really? So even the painter is like, aren't you the Iron Woman who is in that newspaper? I was like, oh my God. But I also had the other experience where I had all those trashy things on me one day after my experience. And I'm like, okay, it goes both ways. And
Yeah.
to keep on living, you have to keep on believing.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. So, when you focus on your goal, you don't know how life surprises you. And
Yeah.
life only surprises you with good things when you focus on good things. I think
Yeah.
that's the message. We
Yeah.
don't plan on things. We plan, we believe in the possibilities, but we focus on the value we want to give. And we focus on a good mission. Because when you want to give, when you want to help, it's amazing what you can see happening in your life.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Fantastic. The This podcast is predominantly filled with women, and I um I love to get advice from my guests because a lot of women are struggling in one area or another, as are all humans, but we're talking about the females today. I'd like to maybe get some advice from you as far as if there's a female listening right now who is struggling with being who she's supposed to be, that powerful person, what would be your advice to her right now listening? What would you like to tell her?
I want to tell her to not give up. That's what I want to tell her. Don't give up. And you want to be powerful, choose your industry, find your niche, find the gap you want to fill in the market that you want to be. You want to be powerful by having a voice. Use your voice. Use it. Believe in yourself. I think the most important thing is to know that your story, by sharing it, you help others, get them inspired. So wherever you are, whatever field you are, working on, being in, playing in, you have a place, and you are so unique. I think what I want to say to each one and everyone is that inside every woman, there is a diamond so precious, so unique, so perfect. And the time, the struggles, the frustration, the comments, the bad things, the no, don't do that, you're not good, you don't look good, you don't look too well, you're too fat, all those have been layered that are piled up over your time. And you've heard so much of that, even if you didn't think you were hearing it, but you heard it.
Yeah.
And it covers you. So let go of all of those emotions and find yourself again so that you can use that diamond to shine for you. And the only way you can do that is by finding what is it that you want to create, your goal, make the decision that you're going to make that your reality, and discipline yourself.
Yeah.
That's it. Discipline yourself. And don't give up, because maybe if you stop, you could have been just 1 week away from reaching what you want. So don't stop.
Yeah.
Don't stop. Even if you don't see clients, you see people, don't stop. Carry on. They will come.
Yeah. That's great. I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sabrina, for having me.
Yes.
Did we go beyond the time?
1 hour on the dot almost.
Wow.
1 hour, 2 minutes.
All right.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being here, for sharing so much valuable information. I so appreciate you. For the audience watching here live, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for hanging out with us and listening. For those of you watching on the replay, make sure you hashtag us so that we know that you were here and we can respond with a little bit of love. I am going to go ahead and close up. Are you good?
Yes, very good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, guys.
Love, and to everyone watching us, we love you all. Keep on believing and create whatever you want in your life.
I love that. So thank you so much for joining us here on Her Version. This community is expanding every single day and is filled with females who are striving to do better than they did yesterday. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you like and share. If you have an amazing story to share, make sure you reach out to me at herversion.life. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I'm so grateful to be here sharing a platform that allows people to share their truth and inspire others.